The Edge at 11 starts now.
It shouldn't ever come to this. The manager of a popular restaurant ends up bloodied and unconscious because a customer was upset over a bill.
As Fox News' Jessica Dupnack tells us tonight, the suspect is now facing criminal charges all over a glass of lemonade.
We have seen people snap over all kinds of ridiculous things, but this one could take the cake. A restaurant manager beaten over a glass of lemonade. How much are those lemonades?
Maybe $3 at the most.
Because the customers didn't want to pay for those, restaurant manager Susan Raines was beaten.
And he dumped the drink on me first, and then he smashed it on the side of my head. And then I don't know what happened next, and then he just punched me in the eye, and I fell to the ground.
Knocked out, a concussion, staples in her head.
I've been to 2 hospitals and too many doctors, counselors, and whatnot that I can't even count.
It happened in April. 2 customers complained about their steaks at a chain seafood restaurant in Livonia we're not naming. Susan took the food off the bill and apologized profusely. She left $6 worth of those lemonades on there to pay for, but the couple crumpled the receipt and tossed it at her. Then a man they were with allegedly stepped in. His name, Deshaun Kelly.
Oh, we were toe-to-toe. Literally toe-to-toe,
and he's
and eye-to-eye, and he's calling me all kinds of nasty, horrible names.
Then she says Kelly attacked.
It happened so fast, nobody could have stopped it.
The couple and Kelly quickly left, leaving Susan there bloodied and knocked out.
I was told, as a matter of fact, they just kind of walked over and around me like I was a piece of garbage.
The whole thing caught on camera, hard to argue that. And facial recognition helped Livonia police catch Kelly a week later, now charged with assault. This all happened within 48 hours of that Chipotle employee in Southfield getting shot by a customer over guacamole.
The customer cannot get in your face and be rude and mean and condescending and just say I'm not paying my bill because I don't want to pay my bill.
Susan goes back to work next Monday and will continue going to therapy for her mental health.
Am I ready to go back to work? No, but I have to.
Deshaun Kelly was given a $50,000 cash bond. Now, this is the second time he's been in trouble, pleading guilty to armed robbery back in 2015. Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Well, a driver loses control on a busy stretch of Telegraph and ends up crashing into a strip mall. The damage is extensive, but amazingly, nobody was hurt.
But it was definitely a close call. Fox News' Dave Spencer reports from Redford.
This is where a GMC Denali HD came to rest, in the middle of Athletico-Physical Therapy in Redford Township. According to witnesses, the truck was heading south on Telegraph.
He was barreling down the road behind me, and then he started changing lanes right as the light was turning red.
But it didn't stop. Instead, it left the road, crashing into a light pole before the 96 interchange.
It splintered out into the toothpicks, and then he just drove straight into the building.
Douglas Wilson and his 2 friends were right in that truck's path.
It looked like he was trying to hit us, so I got scared, I panicked, and I just run over there.
They say the sound of the truck hitting the pole saved their lives.
We heard a loud boom noise, and my friend just told me to run.
Inside the building, Paris Edwards was working out when it happened.
I heard a noise, and the next thing I know, when I turned around, it was like, boom, I screamed, and then I ran on the other side.
Thankfully, she and the trainers inside were on the other side of the business when the crash happened. As for the driver, well, according to witnesses,
he got out like nothing happened. Like he didn't look injured or nothing.
He got out the car and was just looking, and then he come out the car, and he comes out. He started walking towards that way, and the guy that worked there said, "Hey, stand right there. Don't leave. Stand right there."
As for the person behind the wheel of the truck, police did not say if they were taken to the hospital or if they were taken into custody. Now, a portion of Telegraph Road was closed so that DTE could repair the fallen light post. In Redford Township, Dave Spencer on The Edge.
2 lives are lost after multiple crashes on I-75 in Detroit. We're told it all started because a 30-year-old mother was impaired behind the wheel. Michigan State Police say that she crashed near I-94, killing a 4-year-old boy in her car who was not properly restrained. A second female driver ended up crashing in the backup. Her 91-year-old passenger died. Investigators are seeking charges in the initial crash.
A close call from Macomb County Sheriff's deputy. His patrol vehicle taking a direct hit from a Kia Sorento last night on I-94 at Harper. The deputy's cruiser was blocking traffic on the freeway following an earlier crash involving a suspected drunk driver. As you can see, both the Kia and the cruiser are badly damaged. 2 teens were inside that Kia. Both were taken to the hospital and were told to have serious injuries. The sheriff's office says the woman responsible for the first crash was impaired. She was hospitalized in stable condition.
A great Monday. A nice way to start the week with all that sunshine, but that could change by tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what they say about Michigan. You don't like it, just wait a minute. Captain Rich Luderman tracking the radar. No one's going to like this one, huh?
Well, we're going to see a part of this storm system out here to our west come our way tomorrow evening. So Tuesday evening, we could see some strong storms in Metro Detroit. Right now, all the active weather is in parts of Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, up into western Iowa, south of Minneapolis. And we're going to zoom in and show you the strongest part of the storm is between Oklahoma City and Kansas City. And you can see this dangerous line, embedded tornadoes. Not a good night for parts of Oklahoma and Kansas. Around here, we had hazy sunshine, 67 degrees, the official high today, close to 70 around Lansing and Grand Rapids. There's 70 as far north as Ludington, South Haven, 72. 67, 48, the official high and low. Look at the averages, right where we should be. How about the records? 90 on the high side, 31 on the low side. Right now, it is cooling off, especially up there close to St. Clair County and De Lapeer County. Numbers there in the middle 40s. Still 54 over at City Airport, 53 in Howell right now. The breeze is light, but the flow is from the east and northeast, and that continues to pump in dry air. So we are going to stay dry for tonight, and a good chunk of tomorrow is going to be dry. It's tomorrow evening when the active weather comes. 62 Chicago, 52 way up there in Newberry. So high pressure in charge of our weather for the next 12 to 18 hours, but late in the day, Tuesday evening, I'm going to stop the animation. This is 8 o'clock, and you can see some of those clusters of storms with some damaging wind gusts. That's the big threat tomorrow. Some of the gusty winds, but the bullseye of severe weather from Fort Wayne down to Columbus. It's comfortable tonight, mostly clear skies, down to 49, back up to 72 tomorrow. Late day and evening storms likely, and then you'll see a great looking day Wednesday, warm near 80, cooler as we head into Mother's Day weekend. We'll show you that forecast and check on it at 4 a.m.
Celebration in Gaza today over word that Hamas has accepted a ceasefire proposal that could bring an end to 7 months of war. But Israel says the proposal did not meet its core demands. Its military is launching targeted strikes in Rafah right now. The U.S. government continues to express concern over a military operation in southern Gaza. President Biden spoke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning, but that was before learning of the purported deal.
Just not going to get ahead of the process. We want to get these hostages out. We want to get a ceasefire in place for 6 weeks. We want to increase humanitarian assistance. And the last thing that I want to do is say anything at this podium that's going to put that process at risk.
Details about what's in the proposed ceasefire deal have not been released. Well, the most recent developments sending shockwaves worldwide and here at home.
Well, some welcome the news of Hamas accepting a ceasefire deal. Others simply think it won't work.
A ceasefire will save 2 million Palestinians, will save over 100 hostages, and will make a lot of people happy in the Middle East.
It seems like Hamas has written their own proposal, which goes back to them wanting to have a permanent ceasefire, meaning really one side. They want Israel to have a ceasefire while they're still committed to the destruction of the state of Israel.
It is not clear if the ceasefire Hamas agreed to aligns with what the U.S. and Israel put forward.
You can't come into our cities and you can't come into our states and ignore the demands that the people have made, especially here in Michigan, where you led, it was the birth of the uncommitted movement.
Vice President Harris making a visit in Detroit, and she is greeted by pro-Palestinian protesters. The group says its demands to the VP are an immediate and permanent ceasefire, as well as halting all military aid to Israel. In the meantime, VP Harris announced $100 million in investments, which will go to small and medium-sized auto supply companies, many of which are Black-owned.
These grants will allow businesses to upgrade production and production lines to produce parts for electric vehicles.
The vice president says the strength of the economy rests on the strength of small businesses and especially the supply chain. She adds that this $1 million investment will help keep the auto industry afloat and competitive.
Well, workers at Stellantis' Warren stamping plant have voted to authorize a strike. Union members say Stellantis has refused to address health and safety issues at the plant. Among other grievances, concerns about ventilation, anti-fatigue mats, flooding, and overall sanitation. Any work stoppage at Warren stamping could impact production of the Dodge Ram, Jeep Wrangler, and Jeep Wagoneer as well.